So guys, this part two is earlier. I'm back. I had to go eat my lunch. Oh, right quick. Let me charge up my tablet so y'all me and focus. Clean. Be profitable in rural America. Hold up. Pause. Hold on, guys. I wish I had a picture of y'all. Wait. Hold up. Hold up, guys. Just wait. Child. Hold up, guys. Stand by signature. Stand. I say that. Uh, really though. Guys. Prices every day could be profitable in rural America. Before Walmart inspired the classic website People of Walmart, featuring some of the most bizarrely dressed and strangest looking people on something Walmart this way comes. It's beautiful! Before the retail giant became the largest company by revenue in the world and biggest private employer, earning a profit of $35,000 every minute with over 2 million employees. On top of this, there has also been some serious controversy for alleged mistreatment of employees, profiteering off of the death of employees, slave labor allegations, and recently the Tracy Morgan car crash. Former Saturday Night Live star said, Walmart did right by me and my family. I'm grateful the case was resolved amicably. Well, before all this, Sam Walton opened his first retail store in 1945, then called Walton's 5 to 10. His plan was to sell more by offering lower prices. Even though this would mean less profits per item sold, he hoped the greater sales volume would make up for it. And while the plan worked better than expected, with over $144.7 billion in earnings, Sam's family is now amongst the richest in the world, and everyone in America would soon know what Walmart is. Well, with the exception of Paris Hilton. I don't know. What is Walmart? It's like they sell wall stuff? What's going on, guys? My name's Mike McCrudden, documenting the growth of Walmart here for you and before they're famous. I've also covered McDonald's and Google, and of course, a whole lot of human beings as well. So let me know in the comments down below who you want me to document next. Corporations are included. Whether it's our success or our size, Walmart Stores Incorporated has generated fear, if not envy, in some circles. Walmart was incorporated on October 31st, 1969, making it a Scorpio. But Walmart's founder, Sam Walton, actually started what would become the company way back in 1945. Prior to purchasing a branch of the Ben Franklin retail store, he grew up a farm boy from Oklahoma, who later moved to Missouri and later became a farm home appraiser. But he got bored of that and he got into retail. In 1945, with a loan of $20,000, he purchased his first variety store, and to separate himself from the rest, he decided to sell his items at a lower price than his competitors. Yeah, the guy next door wasn't impressed. Even though this would mean he would make less profit on each item sold, he hoped to make up for selling more items, and finding lower cost suppliers made it all work out. Soon business was booming. After 5 years, his branch of Ben Franklin was earning a whopping $250,000 per year in revenue, but he wasn't able to renew his lease. So he opened up a new store just down the street and named it Walton's Five and Dime. More stores would follow, including one in Ruskin Heights, which he opened with his brother Bud in 1954. By 1962, the pair had 16 stores in 3 states. That year, they opened the first discount store with a new name titled Walmart, and this was out in Rogers, Arkansas. By that time, a new big box competitor by the name of Major, well, they were based out in Walker, Michigan. And Sam, he liked what he saw. So he decided to kind of copy what they were doing. Major had made their stores one-stop shopping centers where customers could buy a huge range of items in just one place. Sam loved the idea, so, well, he stole it and decided to focus on growing in rural communities. He brought the idea to the suits at Ben Franklin so they could grow with him. But that meeting, it didn't go so well. They really messed up.
Well, after a morning of discussion, they told him they just really didn't see a future, and besides that, they couldn't offer him merchandise at a lower price than what they were selling to the Ben Franklin franchisees.
Despite the setback, Sam decided to do it himself, and this was in 1964 when he opened his second Walmart. This one was in Harrison, Arkansas.
When I saw the Harrison, Arkansas store, I thought to myself, this is absolutely the worst discount store or retail store that I've ever seen.
Through the 60s and 70s, as Walmart continued to expand, Sam actually introduced a profit-sharing plan for his employees. This would become one of his 10 rules for building a business, 5 of which are about treating employees well.
In Sam's mind,
we're all equal.
Our company's built on people. The success we've had is because of our people.
Walmart was booming, and they decided to buy 91 Big K stores in the Southeast and build the first Sam's Club. Yet another idea taken from a competitor, in this case, Price Club. Profits were so good, well, Sam, he decided to do a little performance while visiting Wall Street. On Sunday, April 5th, 1992, Sam Walton died of blood cancer in Little Rock, Arkansas. By that time, he had been ranked as the richest person in the United States and received the Medal of Freedom from George Bush Sr. His company had reached annual sales of about $50 billion, and he employed close to 500,000 people. Yeah, well, he did good. Right now, I'm employing like 8 3-year contractors, and I thought that was fantastic. Though America's largest retailer, Walmart, would face unprecedented scrutiny and scandal. The company would come under fire for low wages, discriminatory hiring and management policies, and buying from overseas suppliers. Today, 80% of Walmart suppliers, well, they're located out in China. But it was during the 90s when things got really ugly. Walmart took out secret life insurance policies on their employees called Dead Peasant Insurance. The associates were not even informed about the scheme, which allowed the company to collect $50,000 to $80,000 when employees or even ex-employees had passed away. This wasn't Sam. This was definitely someone else. In 2014, The Guardian revealed that Walmart had been buying shrimp from Thai suppliers who used slave labor. The same year in Oklahoma, Walmart was discovered to be holding a food drive for their own employees. Yeah, I know. Really crazy. Oh, shoot. Now I got the whole PR team at Walmart mad at me. And that smiley face ain't so happy. While Walmart claims its average hourly wage for employees is $11.83, our Walmart, a group fighting for higher wages at the company, they claim most workers make less than $9. Either way, if you have to hold a food drive for your employees to eat, you gotta wonder how much Walmart is sticking to its founders' principles about treating their workers well. You know? What do you guys think? Let me know down below. As for the rest of the story, well, you know it because this is before they're famous. Thanks for checking out my channel, guys. We have talked about other companies like McDonald's and Google, so check out those videos, rate me out. As always, be sure to let me know in the comments down below who you want to hear about next. And just for fun, let me know what's the strangest person you've ever seen at a Walmart. I look forward to reading your comments.
Today, I don't want to be hungry. Please donate food items here so
Associates, that's what Walmart calls its employees, in need
can enjoy Thanksgiving dinner, save money, live better.
Saving up to 95% on their prescriptions with Blink Health has people talking. I have saved already $320.
We're currently saving about $600 a month.
It's so ridiculously inexpensive.
Same medication, same pharmacy, lower price.
Download the app, pay for your prescription with Blink. Present it to your pharmacist.
And Blink is completely free to use.
All I gotta say is I'm happy and I'm glad that there's Blink out there.
Stop overpaying. After Jesus of Nazareth went from being a humble carpenter to a controversial preacher with a dedicated following and 12 loyal disciples, well, I guess only 11 were loyal.
Yehuda. Labaranash. Pinashak.
After December 25th will be celebrated as his birthday, that is until someone dressed in a red coat and decided to steal all the attention for himself.
Could it be Satan?
After Jesus was executed by the Romans, but his life and teachings would inspire the most popular religion on the face of the earth.
Always look on the bright side of life.
While there is no physical archaeological evidence for Jesus, most contemporary historians agree that he did in fact exist. While the details of his life are often disputed among scholars and clergy alike, it is indisputable that Jesus is one of the most influential human beings of all time. He's worshipped as the central figure of Christianity. In the Baha'i faith, he is believed to be a manifestation of God, the Messiah, and a messenger of God. Jesus has been depicted in art for centuries and inspired the building of great cathedrals and monuments. Even in the recent past, the massive statue of Jesus Christ the Redeemer was built in Rio de Janeiro as recently as 1931. He's been depicted in films like The Last Temptation of Christ and Jesus Christ Superstar, and he's had a cameo in Ben-Hur.
On your feet! Yes, I'm going!
He's even appeared in comedies like Monty Python, The Life of Brian, Family Guy, and of course, South Park. And of course, like any influential figure, Jesus has spawned countless memes, like Buddy Christ, Hipster Jesus, Jesus is a Jerk, and Storytime Jesus. What's going on, guys? My name is Michael McCrudden, documenting the life of Jesus here for you on After They Were Gone. In this series, I talk about influential people and how they changed the world. So only talk about really important ones, like Elvis, done him, Hitler, I've done him as well, and of course, Harambe. But you guys let me know in the comment section down below who you want me to document next. Saving up to 95% on their prescriptions with Blink Health has made a lot of people very happy. People and how they changed the world. So only talk about really important ones, like Elvis, done him, Hitler, I've done him as well, and of course, Harambe. But you guys let me know in the comment section down below who you want me to document next.
Oh man, I should pause it. Hold on, y'all. Sorry.
Influential people and how they changed the world.
Sorry about
really
this, guys.
important ones, like Elvis, done him, Hitler, I've done him as well, and of course, Harambe. But you guys let me know in the comment section down below who you want me to document next.
Oh.
Harambe. But you guys let me know in the comment section down below who you want me to document next.
Hold on, guys. I'm finna Google her. Cause she died from being in a car crash, I think. Everybody, like, we have a lot of don't know her. Prince Isabel. I mean, Princess Isabel. I knew that she died of a car crash. I knew it. She died of a car crash. That's sad. Sorry about the background, guys. It is now. What is this? It's a painting. Yeah, it's like a painting. Hitler. He must have been a king. Mmm. That is Joshua's down. thought he was a governor. Alright, let's get back to this business partner. Williams. Oh, he write books. I know what. You guys, if y'all don't know what Marilyn Monroe died of, she took some pills and she took her own stuff. She took her own stuff. So nobody took her. She took her own stuff. You can hit the because so I'm trying to finish watching God. Yeah, Jesus.
Jesus was born on December 25th, year 1 CE in Bethlehem, or at least in an ideal world that would be true. In reality,
I'll be back, guys. Hold up. I'm not gonna let you. I'm back, you guys. Don't think that this show is over because it ain't, because it's gonna be a long.
We don't actually know the exact day that Jesus was born.
Hold up.
Let's only talk about really important ones,
I'm not actually trying to go back to that because I'm trying to see
Years prior,
when Jesus
as it
was
was
born.
originally known, was meant to be the marker of Jesus' entry into the world. AD stands for Anno Domini, which is medieval Latin for in the year of the Lord, and years prior to this were labeled BC. Elvis, done him. Hitler, I've done
I just gotta go back
of course,
again.
Harambe. But you guys let me know in the comments. Jesus was born on December 25th, year 1 CE in Bethlehem, or at least in an ideal world that would be true. In reality, we don't actually know the exact day that Jesus was born, and December 25th was chosen as the day to celebrate his birth, mainly because it was already a popular holiday celebrated as the marker of the winter solstice on the Roman calendar. The first year of the Common Era, or AD as it was originally known, was meant to be the marker of Jesus' entry into the world. AD stands for Anno Domini, which is medieval Latin for in the year of the Lord, and years prior to this were labeled BC, for before Christ. But the original estimate was a little off, as contemporary historians estimate his birth as being 4 years prior to this, which is one of the main reasons why AD and BC have been replaced with CE and BCE, standing for Common Era and before Common Era. In reality, Jesus was probably born in 4 BCE. According to Christian tradition, Jesus was born in Bethlehem, which fulfills Jewish prophecies that the Messiah would be born there. But many historians doubt this story and claim he was most likely born in the same place where he grew up, Nazareth. Jesus was the son of Mary, who is claimed to have been a virgin at the time of his conception, despite being married to the now famous carpenter Joseph. Jesus' actual father, according to Christianity, is God, which makes Jesus' very birth a miraculous event. When it comes to the matter of baby Jesus, Joseph, you are not. Jesus was raised Jewish and baptized by John the Baptist. He started his own ministry and preached a doctrine of love and denounced violence and materialistic greed. By the age of 30, he was so influential that the Romans considered him to be a serious threat to Rome's imperial authority in Israel. He was sentenced to death by crucifixion, a brutal but popular form of execution in ancient Rome. Although, according to Christian dogma, the Romans made the execution especially violent, choosing to nail rather than tie Jesus to the cross. Forgive them, Father. They don't know what they're doing. Following his death, Jesus is said to have been resurrected and commanded that his teachings be spread all over the world before returning to heaven. His messages and life story was kept alive by the apostles and to some degree his relatives. Between about 150 to 400 years after Jesus' life, the various books that form the New Testament of the Bible were written, which would immortalize his story and his teachings. To this day, the Bible remains the most translated and best-selling book of all time, with over 5 billion copies sold, filling a lot of drawers in hotel rooms and other places. The followers of the early Christian church were treated horribly in Roman society in the 1st century. Roman Emperor Nero wrapped them in animal skins and had them mauled by dogs. Other emperors moved the practice to large areas and used larger animals, like lions. But while practicing Christianity was illegal in early Roman society, that all changed with the Roman Emperor Constantine, who stopped Christian persecution and legalized Christianity throughout the empire.
Christians throughout the empire were able to worship freely, and for the first time ever, their faith was shared by an emperor.
He converted to Christianity himself and supported the church financially, built Christian buildings, including St. Peter's Basilica. He granted tax exemptions to members of the clergy soon after Christianity would become the Roman state religion. By the time of the fall of the Western Roman Empire in 476, Christianity was widespread throughout Europe, so much so that there were already 2 leaders of the faith. In the East, Christians answered to the Patriarch of Constantinople, while in the West, God's representative on earth was the Bishop of Rome, who would later be rebranded as the Pope. While Christianity spread to Scandinavia and Russia, tensions between East and West would continue to mount. In 1054, the Great Schism officially separated Eastern Orthodoxy from Western Catholicism when the leaders of both churches excommunicated each other. During the early Middle campaigns to capture the Holy Land, which would be known as crusades. While these wars were sanctioned by the Catholic Church, they are generally remembered as a huge waste of money and lives, which didn't accomplish much other than creating an enduring mistrust between Muslims and Christian society.
It's a crusade! And so we have the Fourth Crusade that achieves nothing, followed by the Fifth Crusade that achieves nothing, followed by the Sixth Crusade that achieves nothing.
But Christianity didn't just bring about wars and conflict during the Middle Ages. The need to create large houses of worship and at the same time keep them well lit brought about great innovations in architecture, resulting in beautiful cathedrals throughout Europe, like St. Basil's Cathedral in Moscow and the Duomo in Florence and Notre Dame in Paris. Christian art also flourished in medieval Europe and beyond. When depicting Jesus, Europeans often remade him in their own image, as have Christians all over the world. Here is a picture of Jesus from Egypt during the 6th century, and here is one from Greece in 1580. In Da Vinci's famous mural, The Last Supper, Jesus has European features and medium brown hair. Here he is with light brown hair and blue eyes, and here he is, a Chinese Jesus illustrated in Beijing. Recently, British scientists teamed up with Israeli archaeologists to recreate his face as accurately as possible. So what did Jesus really look like? Well, something like this. With the invention of the printing press by Johannes Gutenberg around 1440, people began to get access to their own copies of the Bible. As a result, people became less reliant on the church to give them the Word of God, and new divisions of Christianity emerged out of dissatisfaction with the Catholic Church. This movement will be known as the Protestant Reformation.
What happens next is the stuff of legend.
The German priest and monk Martin Luther led the first movement against Catholicism and founded the Lutheran Church. John Calvin would soon follow and establish Calvinism. The English King of England and Ireland, Henry VIII, he would separate from Rome for reasons more personal than theological.
By 1528, Henry had been married to Catherine of Aragon for 20 years, but he fancied Anne Boleyn, her lady-in-waiting.
His 6 marriages and numerous affairs led to serious conflict with the Pope, so he formed his own church, the Church of England, which is also known as the Anglican Church. Over the next few centuries, Europeans would colonize much of the world and bring their Christianity to new lands. Missionaries would also help to establish churches in a few places on Earth outside the reach of European power. By 2011, there were over 2 billion Christians in the world, and that number is expected to reach nearly 3 billion by 2050. And if we're already poking fun of good old Jesus now today, I can only imagine what's going to happen in 2050. I mean, South Park, they didn't let him off the hook. They're definitely not Catholic.
You know, I'm here just to do whatever I can.
As for the rest of the story, well, that's pretty much it. Because this is After They Were Gone. My name's Michael McCartney. We are recording this video on Christmas, so I hope you're having a fantastic holiday. Be sure to check out some of our other videos. We've talked about Santa Claus, we've talked about St. Patrick, and we're open for suggestions.
St. Patrick.
What's this? What's this? Balloons everywhere. What's this? Everybody's acting weird.
You don't
What's
need to
this?
see
I
that.
see no holiday, just lots of drinking. Give me some. This isn't fair. Before St. Patrick's Day would be celebrated the world over, with practically everyone indulging in one or two too many. Singing Danny Boy. But come ye.
Hold on, you guys. I'm not trying to go to this. I ain't tripping.
Alrighty, man. What is going on, everybody?
Hold on.
Saving up to 95% on their prescriptions with Blink Health has people talking.
I am. That would be true. Water. What's this? What's this? Balloons everywhere. What's this? Everybody's acting weird. What's
Just in
this?
case.
Give me some. This isn't fair. Before St. Patrick's Day would be celebrated the world over, with practically everyone indulging in one or two too many. Before astronaut Chris Hadfield took photographs of Ireland from outer space and recorded a song of him singing Danny Boy. But come ye back when summer. Before there was an Irish bar in practically every country on Earth. Before a St. Patrick's Day parade would be held in cities around the world, including Moscow, Tokyo, Montreal, Toronto, and in Chicago, where they dye the river green. Before Ireland's potato crop failed, resulting in over 1 million Irish deaths, and millions of other Irish being forced to immigrate from their native land.
Drinking, violence, destruction of property. Are these the things we think of when we think of the Irish?
Now, these people were in search of greener pastures, but in truth, there is no nation that holds green as near and dear to its heart as that of Ireland. Now, the people, they spread out across the world, and they brought with them their celebration of St. Patrick's Day. In fact, there is no national festivity that is celebrated this globally. But who is the man the holiday is named after? And, did he really chase the snakes out of the country? It turns out he wasn't even Irish. What's going on, guys? My name's Michael McCrudden, and welcome to Before They're Famous, documenting the life and the holiday of St. Patrick's Day, here for you on Before They're Famous. Now, none of you guys requested this video. Shame on you, because today it is, in fact, St. Patrick's Day. And in the past, I've done a video on Santa Claus, so you should have known better. Be sure to let me know in the comments down below who you want to hear about next. Also, how are you enjoying this epic day?
This is the busiest drinking day of the year. Where are the designated drivers? Beat it. I got no room for cheapskates.
Born somewhere in Britain circa 386 AD, the story goes that the man who would go on to be named St. Patrick was initially captured by Irish pirates at the age of 16, and he was then brought to the Emerald Isle as a slave. Now, much of his life is unknown, with contemporary historians being unable to verify a whole lot, but there are a lot of people that trace his name back to that of Maewyn Succat. We do know his father was Calphurnius, and he was a deacon from a Roman family of high social standing. As for his mother, her name was Conchessa, and she had strong religious ties to that of Christianity. Now, due to his capture, the young man did not receive a formal education, but he was spiritually guided. His master, well, he was a high priest of Druidism. Now, while he was in slavery, he was tasked with tending to sheep, and he would pass the time by praying. He came to think of this time as God testing his faith. Finally, after 6 years, well, he escaped, and he got home to his family. A free man once again, Patrick then went to France, where he enlisted in the priesthood. There, which led him to return to Ireland with the goal of...
Hold on, guys. Hold on. I'm back, you guys. Oh, how do people keep disturbing me? My mama keeps on.
bringing Christianity to the nation. Now, when he finally returned to Ireland, he was thought to be somewhere in his 40s or 50s, and he was met with a whole lot of resistance. In fact, at one point, he was locked for 60 days and given no excuse, but regardless, he pushed forward. And through his practice of preaching, writing, and built up a following. He ordained priests to lead in his Christian community. He also got some wealthy women to be his nuns, because it's always good to have a lady around. He also got some king's sons to embrace Christianity, and all of a sudden, well, it spread throughout the nation. Now, if you've ever been to Ireland, there is a church on every corner, so the man must have been doing something right.
I hear you're a racist now, Father.
What? He also constructed the Celtic Cross, created councils, founded monasteries, and organized Ireland into a diocese. Now, legend has it that Patrick, he drove all the snakes off of the island into the sea, but that right there, that's an old wives' tale. How do I know that? Well, leprechauns, they find snakes to be delicious. They ate them all, for real. Another legend pertaining to St. Patrick was his use of the shamrock to explain the different variations of God. You got the Father, you got the Son, and you got the Holy Spirit. Now, that one makes sense. Now, there's much speculation surrounding the year of St. Patrick's death, but the date was quite confidently pegged of that of March 17th. Now that we got all that stuff out of the way, let's talk about the party. St. Patrick's Day was made an official Christian feast day back in the 17th century, and it was their way to celebrate both St. Patrick as well as the arrival of Christianity in Ireland. Furthermore, it also became a calendar year for the Irish to celebrate their own culture and heritage, which looks a little something like this. We drink all day, it's all our guilt. We never got guilt, but we got better guilt. Throughout the mid-1800s, the Great Hunger, or the Irish Potato Famine, was at its worst, resulting in over 1 million deaths and another million Irish leaving the distant locations like New York, Boston, and Newfoundland. So much so that the population remaining on Ireland was less than 25%. Yeah, a lot of people died or left. But with them being far away from home, they still wanted to celebrate being Irish. So when would they do that? Of course, they would do it on St. Patrick's Day. And the Irish, they must bang like rabbits because their numbers, they grew no matter where they went. Like, All of a sudden, Irish pubs began to pop up all over the world, and Irish dance became a popular pastime, including on the very bottom of the Titanic. Now, by the 21st century, it is estimated that 80 million people worldwide claim some Irish descent. I'm, in fact, one of those people. My ancestors, they survived the famine. They didn't leave the country until the 1970s. And, well, the Toronto Maple Leafs, back then they were known as the Toronto St. Patricks. So I guess when they got to Canada, they felt much at home. Now, the heavy drinking related to this holiday, that is a relatively new trend. But who am I to complain? In fact, well, it's my favorite holiday of all time. So enjoy yourself out there, but be safe. As for the rest of the story, well, there really isn't much more. Or if there is, it's in the history books. This is before they were famous.
Today, everyone is a little bit Irish, except, of course, for the gays and the Italians.
Thanks for checking out my personal channel. My name is Michael McCrudden. I do all sorts of celebrity bios on here. If you like this one, you might want to check out Santa Claus. But I also do rappers, politicians, actors, comedians, even porn stars. Yeah, there's definitely no saints on that list. Alright, ran out of breath. See you guys in another video.
Just you try it. Oh, I'll try it. Just you try it. You'll feel it when I try it. I'd like to see you have at it, would you now?
I don't want to startle the person here. There we go. Going silently in. Make entry until backup arrives.
Well, all I can say is thank you guys for watching. Yeah, I try not to yell it, but I'm getting you. I'm out. Peace.